Here's Rob Carson. It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be podsmacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
Hello, how are you? It's me. It's time to go live and do a podcast. That's what we're doing right now. I felt like I needed to do it today just because I've had a lot of stuff on my mind. There's a lot of events in the world, a lot of things that have happened in Washington, D.C., and I thought we'd comment on them. I did start a little fire with regard to this women's march going on in Washington, D.C. today. I've had friends who went down to it, and when I was commenting on another page earlier today, well, let's go ahead and share what I shared with those people. I said of this women's march in Washington, D.C., and your comments are more than welcome. All you need to do is just message me, okay? I said this idiotic, unfocused leftist march was never about women because it left out half of America's women, those who believe in right to life, faith, etc. It's 1909 all over again. There's no war against women. Women aren't victims. Madonna, Scarlett Johansson, Jane Fonda, and Cher aren't victims. What's the point? Why are they drawing a line between the sexes now? This is the new war, all right? I love my wife, my daughter, my mother. And if you live and breathe today, you are a fetus. Would you rather march against someone who said they would grab someone by the pussy, or would you rather support someone who actually did dozens of times in hotel rooms? I'm talking about William Jefferson Clinton. No woman ever marched against Bill Clinton. They march against Donald Trump today because of something he said on a tour bus. They never marched on Bill Clinton, the rapist, the sexual assaulter. All right? It's a load of crap. This is a load of leftist BS. And you know what? It's going to suck. It's going to really suck if you're a Planned Parenthood supporter because your funding's going away. All right? You have made me pay for abortion for long enough. Planned Parenthood is going to have to support itself. So, pony it up. If you believe in the right for a woman to abort a baby, you frickin' pay for it because I'm not going to pay for it anymore. All right? You know, when you talk about women's rights, you forget about half of the women in the country who could have lived, who could have survived abortion and become people. But you are alive today because your mother decided she was going to keep you. It is a sacred gift to carry a child in your womb. It is not a tumor. It is not a growth. It is not a disease. You have been chosen to carry a child. I understand there are instances in rape and incest. I get that. I understand that. But by God, if you are just irresponsible or you just decide you're not ready to have a child or whatever, tough. Have the child. That's what this march was all about. It's all been about nothing more than abortion. That's all it is. Tell me one thing Donald Trump has said about the LGBT community. Tell me one thing that he has said about the LGBTQRSTYZ community. Please, somebody tell me when he said something awful against the LGBT community. I want to know. Write me right now. Message me right now. I need you to message me. All right? I need you to tell me right now exactly what Donald Trump said that was so racist. When did he say, other than he said that, what do you have to lose by supporting someone who actually might change something in the inner cities of America? What else did he say? Did he not hire black people? Does he hate black people? Does he hate black people? I need to know this. Why is there a war? Why are there battlefields, battle lines being drawn between men and women? Because Donald Trump is the president. This is a faux movement. It's a bullshit movement. And it's being headed up by some of the most leftist, radical, spoiled, entitled people in the history of mankind. Today at this idiotic women's movement in Washington, D.C., which is over nothing. Tell me what the cause is. Just tell me what's going on. I need to know. I need to know what is going on. What do you expect Donald Trump's going to do? Somebody sent me earlier today. They sent me an interesting piece. Said, you've got some feminists who say, keep your laws out of my womb, but they want you and me to pay for their abortions and birth control. So what kind of sense does that make? Doesn't make any sense at all. I want to get into and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, and I don't care if it pisses you off. I don't care if it pisses off my friends. I don't care. This stupid movement, this women's march in Washington, D.C. And by the way, people who went to see the Trump inauguration are a little baffled about it. There's Susan Clark, who came from Charlotte, North Carolina, to the inauguration. I think it's great. Do your thing. But I just don't understand what they're doing it for. They're talking about women's rights, but what rights are being taken away from women? Okay? I don't understand what the point is. It's because there are no women's rights going away. There are no LGBTQ rights going away. This is part of this massive movement in the country to drag us back to 1968 with regard to race, drag us back to 1864 with regard to race, and drag us back to 1909 when it comes to sex. It's not legal to pay women less in this country, okay? Women are equal now, okay? Can we just move on, or do you want to continue being a victim? Scarlett Johansson, Cher, Madonna, all at this event today. Are they victims? Are you freaking kidding me? Why don't you go ask some white guy who lives in a freaking meth-infested trailer park in Arkansas, see if they feel that Scarlett Johansson, Cher, and Madonna are victims. Organizers have insisted this march isn't an anti-Trump protest, but rather a rallying cry for women's issues and a range of liberal causes that could be threatened by the Trump administration. The event policy platform covers issues such as racial profiling, climate change, abortion, and LGBTQ RST rights. The official website lists 177 partners, including Planned Parenthood, the Human Rights Coalition, the NAACP, and Vote Latino. It is unhinged, unfocused, and idiotic. But let's hear some audio from this glorious event, because women are being victimized in America. And do you honestly think that I would have voted for Donald effing Trump if I thought he was going to victimize my daughter or my wife or my mother or my sisters? Honestly, this is just a bunch of pissy-ass people who got their asses kicked. They didn't realize they hate the fact that flyover country beat the crap out of New York and Hollywood. That's what they hate. And this is their latest tack. They're going to call Trump Hitler. They're going to call Trump whatever. And it's an insult to the rest of us who didn't vote for Hillary damn Clinton. Your candidate sucked. Hillary sucked. You know why? Because she's a freaking crooked, wretched, awful human being. You can ask anybody who worked with her, anybody in the Secret Service, anybody who's been around her. She's an awful woman who lets her husband screw whatever walks with a vagina in hotel rooms, sometimes against their will. She's an awful person. She was an awful candidate. You lost. Ha ha. We won. And I'm not even a big Donald Trump fan. But all this caterwauling and all this bull crap, all of this crap that doesn't exist, this faux movement is just all it's going to do is motivate people like me who are on the sidelines, who love America, love the people in our lives, no matter if they're men, women, if they're gay, straight, or otherwise, we don't give a shit. But somebody wants to draw a line because they got their asses kicked by Donald Trump, and now he's a Nazi. Here's a little bit of the just batshit crazy Ashley Judd at today's March for Women in D.C.
It's being tattooed across my city. Maybe the South actually
let's do it again.
As Confederate flags being tattooed across my city. Maybe the South actually is going to rise again. Maybe for some, it never really fell. Blacks are still in shackles and graves just for being black. Slavery has been reinterpreted as the prison system in front of people who...
Yeah, well, the only thing is that the people are in prison because they freaking committed crimes.
See melanin as animal skin. I am not as nasty as a swastika painted on a pride flag.
And when did that happen? Please, show me the news report where a swastika was painted on a pride flag, please.
And I didn't know devils could be resurrected, but I feel Hitler in these streets.
Hitler. Okay, so this is somebody trying to start a fire. This is someone who is batshit crazy. This is somebody trying to start a fire. And I'm going to tell you, you're only going to push the American people so far. When you tell half the American people they voted for Hitler and they did not vote for Hitler, it's going to get ugly.
A mustache traded for a toupee. Nazis renamed the cabinet. Electroconversion therapy, the new gas chambers, shaming the
unbelievable
gay out of America, turning rainbows into suicide notes. I am not as nasty as racism, fraud, conflict of interest, homophobia, sexual assault.
I like, a governor of Arkansas sexually assaulting multiple women in hotel rooms, right?
Transphobia, white supremacy, misogyny, ignorance, white privilege.
White privilege. You got to throw white privilege in there. Yeah. I'm privileged. I've been out of work for 2 months now. Yeah, I'm privileged. Here's a little more from the batshit crazy Ashley Judd.
I'm not as nasty as using little girls like Pokemon before their bodies have even developed. I am not as nasty.
She's quoting some idiotic poem by a woman who wrote a poem. It's called like Nasty Woman or whatever. And I think there's some people represented in this thing called the Nasty Women, whatever.
Your own daughter being your favorite sex symbol. Like your wet dreams infused with your own genes. But yeah, I'm a nasty woman. Allowed.
This woman, Ashley Judd, is filthy rich. She has lived a very entitled life. She is part of the 0.1% of the 0.1% in this country, and she's a victim.
Vulgar, proud woman. I'm not nasty. Like the combo of Trump and Pence being served up to me in my voting booth. I'm nasty like the battles my grandmothers fought to get
my grandmother. She's doing folk speak. My grandmother, my grand.
Me into that voting booth. I'm nasty.
Okay, great. Yeah, that happened like before everybody who's alive was born. So basically, everybody who is alive now, who are women, have been able to vote. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, it's been around for a while. Here's where it gets kind of gross. When she starts talking about feminine products, and that's great and all that, and I go to the store and I buy them for my wife all the time. It's kind of embarrassing for me, but apparently somebody wants to take away your tampons.
Why are pads and Tampax still taxed? Ooh, that was a brand name. Why are tampons and pads still taxed when Viagra and Rogaine are not? Is your erection really more than protecting the sacred, messy part of my womanhood?
Okay, just before it gets gross here, I buy Rogaine foam just to use a little bit. It's kind of like a mousse, just to maintain what I have, and I have to pay tax on it. I don't use Viagra. Thank God I don't need it. But here's let's listen to Ashley Judd talk about her woman parts here. This is classy.
Is the blood stain on my jeans more embarrassing than the thinning of your hair?
I just don't even know where to go, and then people are going crazy over this. Like I'm flummoxed. I'm flummoxed. You know why I'm flummoxed? Because I'm not a sexist. I'm not a sexist, and I'm not a homophobe, and I'm not a Nazi. And I didn't vote for Donald Trump because he was those things. And I'm sick and tired of being called these things. My wife is my equal. She always has been. My mother is my equal. My sister is my equal. This is a nonsensical war being started that doesn't exist. The same goes with Black Lives Matter. My son went to a school where there's 10% white kids. Never had a racist thought in his life. And then suddenly it was 1968 on campus again. This is unhinged. This is idiotic. And to be quite honest, I'm sick and tired of it. Oh, let's listen to Madonna. Let's listen to Madonna, the woman who has been famous for more than half of her life. She's approaching 60 years old. She still likes to show her ass and her private parts on the web. She still uses Instagram and Twitter and all these things like an idiot. She's appeared on, Madonna. She's been richer than the richest of the rich for the last 30 years, and now she's a wilting flower. Now she's becoming irrelevant. But somehow, according to this idiotic march in Washington, D.C. today, she's a victim.
It seems as though we had all slipped into a false sense of comfort, that justice would prevail and that good would win in the end. Well, good did not win this election.
Really?
But good will win in the end.
Wait. This woman knows what good is? This woman knows what good is?
So what today means is that we are far from the end. Today marks the beginning of our story. The revolution starts here.
What are we revolting against? What is the revolution? If you could distill it into a bumper sticker, what is the issue here? Are we trying to take away the vote from women? Or what? Where's your revolution here?
The fight.
We're cheering. We don't even know what we're cheering for, but we're cheering
for the right to be free, to be who we are,
what the hell?
To be equal.
You already are.
Let's march together through this darkness. And with each step, know that we are not afraid.
Okay, wow. Speaking in vagaries there. When you march, don't you generally have to have a destination? I'm just trying to figure out what it is. Because, I don't know. What are we taking away from anyone? What is America going to take away from anybody? I don't believe that Donald Trump has signed an executive order that we have separate drinking fountains. Don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Here's a little more from the wretched Madonna.
But this is the hallmark of revolution. So, my question to you today is, are you ready? I said, are you ready?
We don't know what we're ready for, but we think we're ready.
Say yes, we're ready. Say yes, we're ready. One more time, you're ready. Yes.
Yes.
I'm angry.
Yes. I'm angry because I haven't been able to spend more than 6 months at my chateau in the Loire River Valley in France. And I get chauffeured everywhere, and I'm filthy rich. I'm angry.
Yes. I am outraged.
Yes. By what? By what? What are you outraged by? Okay, Donald Trump said some really awful things in a bus with Billy Bush. He talked like a lot of guys talk. I don't talk that way. I just never have been into it. But he did. And Bill Clinton actually did what Donald Trump said he would do. Bill Clinton did it. Where's your march? Where is your selective outrage? Where is your poster with Bill Clinton with a swastika or Bill Clinton with a Hitler mustache? Where is it? This is pure political bullshit.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Oh, now we're talking terror. That's good.
But I know that this won't change anything. We cannot fall into despair. But
you lost. Fall into despair. You lost. That's just what happened, guys. The election was lost. You lost. And now you're going bat crap crazy. These things flummoxed me, these faux movements that are going on in the country, whether it be race, whether it be homophobia, all this stuff. And great, gay people can get married. That's cool. Super. I never had a problem with it. I said leave it up to the states. It's legal now. It's no big deal. We are never going to be a country that is free from racism or misogyny. We never will. It's just not going to happen. It's not possible in humankind. In Siberia, there's racism and homophobia. In Russia, in France, in Switzerland, in Zimbabwe, in Ethiopia, in Argentina. It exists. It exists. All right? But I'm not going to sit here and listen to the most privileged in society, the people who don't want shit to do with you or me. If I approached Madonna and said, hey, Madonna, I support whatever, she would not even make eye contact with me. But suddenly she, in her spoiled, entitled life, is telling you in wherever, you making, $35,000 a year and scraping by, you living in a trailer park, you working a 9-to-5 job and then taking another job at night because you can't afford your health care. All right. You who are like me, who don't have a job. Somehow they want to tell you and me how to think. And they want to claim that they're victims. Nobody in this administration is going to make you a victim. Now, if you expect your abortion to be paid for by the government, Planned Parenthood, that shit's going to stop. All right? That's going to stop. As far as taking away the women's right to vote or some sort of racist measures being taken by the government, that's foolhardy and stupid. All right? This is a temper tantrum. That's what it is. And I will say that unabashedly about this women's movement in Washington, D.C. This march today. Donald Trump's the president. It's strange for me to admit, even me. I'm like I said, he's not my choice. But I liked what he had to say, and nothing he said to me said sexism, racism, homophobia, taking the country backwards. None of that. Didn't say anything to me. That didn't. I wouldn't have voted for him had I thought that way. But some people have decided to say that this is the case. Trump's speech, not going to go through the whole speech. There were some things that were said during the speech, and there's some things that I took away from the speech, and one of them was, and the biggest thing that was basically taking America back from Washington, D.C. That's what his speech said to me. It wasn't about sexism and racism and homophobia. It was about the government is no longer going to run roughshod over us. Here are a couple quotes here. Today, we're not merely transferring power from one administration to another or one party to another. We are transferring power from Washington, D.C. and giving it back to you, the American people. Washington flourished. For too long, a small group of our nation's capitalists reaped the rewards of government while people have borne the cost. Washington flourished. The people did not share its wealth. This is what I said from the very get-go at the beginning of this election. It was about people who moved to Washington, D.C. and spend their entire lives telling us how to live ours. Politicians prospered. Jobs left. Factories closed. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of the country. Their victories have not been your victories. Their triumphs have not been your triumphs. While they celebrated in our nation's capital, there was little to celebrate for struggling families in the land. And this is true. This is true. That all changes here right now because this movement belongs to you. Moment, I should say, belongs to you. He said, January 20, 2017, will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again. Wow, that's horrible. I mean, it's dripping with racism and sexism, right? Isn't it? Said for too many of our citizens, a different reality exists. Mothers and children trapped in poverty in our inner cities, rusted out factories scattered like tombstones across the landscape of our nation, an education system flush with cash. True, we spend more per capita than almost any country in the world, but which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of knowledge, and the crime and gangs and drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much of its unrealized potential. We've defended the nation's borders while refusing to, we've defended other nations' borders while refusing to defend our own. That's true. One by one, factories shuttered and left our shores with not even a thought about the millions upon millions of American workers left behind. The wealth of the middle class has been ripped from their homes and redistributed across the world. From this moment on, it's going to be America first. Whoa, he's Hitler. I mean, wow, he's Hitler. We will get our people off welfare, back to work, rebuilding our country with America's hands and American labor. We will seek friendship and goodwill with the nations of the world, but we do so with the understanding that it is the right of all nations to put their own interests first. We do not seek to impose our way of life on anyone, but rather to let it shine as an example for others to follow. We will no longer accept politicians who are all talk and no action, constantly complaining, but never doing anything about it. The time for talk is over. This is Donald Trump. Wow, what a sexist, homophobic Jew hater. And whether a child is born in the urban sprawl of Detroit or the windswept plains of Nebraska, they look up at the same night sky, they fill their heart with the same dreams, and they are infused with the breath of life by the same almighty creator. So to all Americans in every city, near and far, small and large, from mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words: you will never be ignored again. Your voices, your hopes, and your dreams will define our American destiny, and your courage and goodness goodness and love will forever guide the way. Wow, that is so sexist. Here's Rachel Maddow, of MSNBC, talking about this horrific address that he did yesterday.
That oratory is powerful and can be a form of leadership, but it's not the work of governing, and that counting on inspiration is...
What is Hope and Change? What did Hope and Change do for you, kids? Huh?
It doesn't get you where you need to be. This was a workmanlike speech. It was short, and he went through it quickly, and it was militant, and it was dark.
Did anything I just say to you sound militant or dark? Anything that I just said? Please explain it to me.
The crime, the gangs, the drugs, this American carnage, disrepair, decay. You can't imagine the outgoing president giving a speech like that.
Yeah, because he would be acknowledging the truth.
This president also repeating, the new president also repeating that our guiding principle will be America first, America first. We know how he has used that as a campaign slogan that does also have very dark echoes.
We live in a cruel world. We live in a world of people who despise us because of who we are. We live in a world where people want to kill us and our children and take our real estate. When you say America first, that's essentially like a protect. I'm trying to draw an analogy here. There's really no analogy. You have to be first in a cruel world. Doesn't mean you're trampling on anybody else. It means that your best interests are at heart. We have nothing to apologize for in this country. We help out others. We free people. No one in the history of mankind has freed more people than the United States of America. Nobody's done it. Nobody has given more financially with our blood than the United States of America. And maybe it's about effing time that we put our interests first. Someone who had a little more common sense about this, David Axelrod, oddly enough, former administration official with the Obama administration, talked about Donald Trump's speech. Here it is.
This was a full-throated, as has been said, populist manifesto, and he lit this town on fire.
Good.
He made very
unlike the protesters are doing it too. They're literally lighting it on fire. Donald Trump is just figuratively doing that.
Clear that he believes it's America first. We're going to protect our borders. We're going to protect our jobs. We're going to essentially draw a line around this country and fight that fight. And he laid down the gauntlet. But he also said one thing that I think will be remembered by others, which is we'll no longer accept politicians who are all talk and no action, constantly complaining but never doing anything about it.
The VA, the IRS, all things that we've said we're going to tackle, we're going to fix, and never do.
And said, we're going to change everything for the better. And he took it on his shoulders to say he is going to do this. He will be held accountable for that.
Okay, and he will because he's a Republican. Barack Obama promised hope and change, all of these things, keep your health care, keep your doctor, the whole deal. Not held accountable. Donald Trump will be held accountable. And in any soaring speech that lasts 16 minutes, you're going to get promises. You're going to get a vision. Will everything be achieved? Tell me one president it actually was. Here's Chris Matthews talking about how Trump seemed Hitlerian. We go back to Hitler. We always go back to Hitler. I don't get it.
But I was thinking, when he said today, America first, it was not just the racial, the Hitlerian background.
Hitlerian.
But it was the message I kept thinking, what does Theresa May think of this morning when she picks up the papers and says, oh my God, what did he just say? He said America first. What happened to the special relationship? What if you're Putin? You're probably pounding the table saying, that's what I've been saying. Russia first.
It's got to be whoever first. We're not trying to take I think with Hitler, it was Poland first. Then we're going to take Yugoslavia. Then Sam's writing, just remember what Madonna was offering for a Hillary vote. Oh, yeah, big sloppy BJ. Hillary Clinton was offering a blowjob. Nice. Lance is watching. Teresa's watching. Hello. God bless you guys. Glad. Thank you for checking it out. Even if you disagree, Rob, you're the best as well. Brett as well. I just felt like I needed to say something today. Because I was called, you were called if you were a Trump supporter or a Republican. I wasn't a Trump supporter. I was a Rubio supporter, and I was whatever. Trump was my last candidate. And I get so damn tired of being called racist and whatever. And now it's just going to get worse. And when these idiots show up in Washington, D.C. and say that Donald Trump is going to take away the right to whatever, to LGBTQ RSTUVs or women or whatever, it's a load of crap. And I didn't vote for it. It's not going to happen. Okay, it's not 1909. It's not 1968. It's not 1864. It's 2017. And somebody has to create some sort of an effing crisis to distract from your own problem. This is what it's all about. Hillary Clinton lost. People who voted for Hillary Clinton lost. She lost. She's a loser. Okay, she was a bad candidate. She's a crooked, awful person. She lost. And they can't accept the fact that they got their asses kicked, so they've got to come up with something else and delegitimize the man who's in the White House right now. And the more you do it, the more pissed off I become and the more activist I become, and the people who support the Constitution, American values, life, faith, all of these things. And I'm not a sexist, and I'm not a racist, and I'm not a homophobic, whatever. But the more you call me these things, the more I will fight you. So we can either get along or you can get lost. All right? Go follow, please. Go follow. Go follow Madonna and Ashley Judd. What did that do for Hillary Clinton? What did it do for Hillary Clinton to have Madonna on stage with her, or Bon Jovi, or Robert De Niro? Come on, stick with that crowd. See where that gets you. See how that resonates with people. They're not real. You need to get real. You lost. Okay, that's it. I didn't caterwaul. I didn't cry. I didn't march on Washington because Barack Obama got elected. And by God, I hated that he got elected. It wasn't because he's a black guy. It's because of his policies. But I was called a racist because I didn't vote for him. But I didn't march on Washington and throw a collective temper tantrum like what's going on right now. So you know what? Frickin' grow up and deal with it, folks. Deal with it. I'm even not that thrilled that he's the president, but by God, he's the president. Grow the fuck up. All right? That's about all I got to say. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this out. We're going to post this on all my other Facebook pages, if you would please. Continue to follow this page. Also, I have a food blog, which is not controversial. It is at Rob Carson's Table. Okay. I'm building a collective website. And then also, I've got a few other projects going. In the meantime, if you would please share with others, I'm trying to make a go of this non-terrestrial radio online podcast. If you can contribute to my account at Patreon, Patreon.com. You see it on the bottom there. Let's go to Rob Carson Show and say, hey, I'll give you $1 a month or $5 a month or maybe even $10,000 a month. That'd be cool. Not going to happen. In the meantime, and I say this to all of you, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with me, God bless you. God bless your families. God bless your friends. And God bless America. And we'll see you around sometime. All right. Time for me to go. Bye-bye. See ya.